a naturopathic doctor, certified behavioral analysis consultant. What you see there in blue says concluder and then /DI. So this is what, when I did my DISC assessment, this is what it gave me. I'm a concluder, I'm a D, I'm an I. And as we go along, you'll understand better what D and the I stands for. In 2015, I joined the Maxwell leadership team. And as Sister Marlene said, I'm a coach, speaker, and trainer. And I appreciate the opportunity to come into your living rooms or your car on your devices to make this presentation for you. So today we would cover how we can recognize patterns of behavior in ourselves and in others. And we'll talk about the 4 primary DISC styles. And I will share the key strategies to communicate through someone's DISC style. So you may ask, who is this behavioral analysis best for? Well, it's good for parents to better understand your children. It's good for spouses to better understand your mate. It's good for leaders to better understand your employees or followers. And it's good for employees to better understand your employer and your co-workers. So I had sent Sister Marlene this page that you're seeing here, and I'm guessing that some of us have printed it out. If so, could you let me know?
They just got it. They got it this morning. Were they supposed to print it out?
I'm sorry?
They were supposed to print it out?
Yeah. Well, those that you sent it to. Yeah, it was supposed to be printed out. That's fine if you weren't able to send it. So do you have a copy?
They got it. They got it. It's just, I don't know if they printed out. They got it. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry.
Yes,
My instructions were not completed yet. They had to print it out so they could actually use it.
Okay.
So do I need to give a few minutes for that? Or? Did anybody here print out the sheet?
No, I didn't print it. I did not. I was supposed to.
Okay, yeah. All right. So, okay. So, is anybody able to print out right now? At least a few participants, and the others could follow the instructions, and later on they can do it. Some folks talk back to me.
Going to try and see if I can.
Okay.
I'm going to do it later on today.
Okay. All right. So I know we have more than 2
be able
people.
to use it in my Adobe on my phone. Is that possible that we can?
I am not sure. Well, I'm not
it's
sure.
Allowing, yeah, it allows us to use it on our Adobe and our phone.
Great. Wonderful. All right. So let's begin a little competition, right? Nothing strife, but a little competition. And you should have 2 sheets of the numbers. So you could probably just copy the one you have. And I'm going to ask you to use one of the sheets right now. All right. Somebody's writing on my screen. I wish you would not do that. Help me, please. This is Marlene. Thank you.
I see that.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to ask the parents to please control your kids from writing on the screen. That's not a good thing. Thank you so much. All right. So I'm going to put a 30-second timer. Take one of the sheets, and here's what you're going to do, right? Please follow along as I give you the instructions. Circle each number, but you're going to do it in sequential order, right, when I tell you. So you're going to find number 1, circle it, number 2, circle it, number 3, and so on in order, all right? So your time starts now. 30 seconds. Go right ahead. All right, you have about 5 seconds.
I'm not getting mine.
And again, your circle. All right, time is up. So if anybody was able to circle up to number 5 or higher, could you raise your hand or let me know? If you were able to circle up to 5. Anybody?
8.
Sorry? Somebody said something? Okay.
I'm not
Joe,
technically savvy, so I did it mentally. I found up to number 8.
number 8. Wow. Wow. Okay. Anybody higher? Anybody higher than Joan? All right. So Joan won the first round.
That's Troy, I think.
I'm sorry. Troy, I saw one hand raised.
I'm Troy, yes. I got to 8.
Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. All right. So on the same sheet of paper, and this one is a little tricky with your mind, you can need to draw a line. You will see a little vertical notch in the middle at the top of the page, about halfway across. Do you see that?
You mean the red line going through the page?
No, there should be a notch in the middle, yeah, right with the red line on the top of the page and at the bottom of the page. Little vertical
I don't-
notch.
No, I
Do
don't
you see that?
No,
No, I don't.
no.
Okay, so the page I sent you already had the lines drawn like a cross, correct?
No,
One
the
I'm
page,
now.
the page I have is just numbers.
So on the top of the page, all right. So all right, no problem. All right. So there should be 4 notches, right? One to the top north, one south, one west, one east. If that's not there, that's fine. So I want you to connect or draw a line from the top right down the middle of the page. Don't touch the numbers. So between, it shouldn't touch 38, it shouldn't touch 29, it shouldn't touch 52, just clean down the middle. And then do a horizontal line in the middle of the page straight across. So you're making like a cross or a perfect T in the middle. Are we good with that?
Yes.
So you should have 4 quadrants when you're done. 4 quadrants or 4 sections. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
All right. So
Fine.
this is the framework that's going to help you now to do the same exercise. All right. Now, in those quadrants that you have drawn, if you were able to circle number 1, where is number 1? In which quadrant?
The first.
In the left upper quadrant, correct?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. Number 2 is in
Yes.
the upper right quadrant.
Yes.
Number 3 in the lower right quadrant.
Yes.
Right. So you begin to see the pattern the framework is showing us 1, 2, 3, 4. And where's number 5?
In the first top left.
Very good. Very good. That's right. The upper left quadrant, right? And of course, the pattern continues. Okay. Now, I need you to take another sheet of paper, if you copy the first one, and we're going to do the same exercise over again. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm
If
ready.
you can copy that one that you got. Are you ready?
Kind of. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to start the timer now. 30 seconds. Let's go. No cheating. All right, 20 seconds left. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Okay, you heard that. Time is up. Time is up. Pencils down. No cheating, Marlene.
I missed all.
All right, so raise your hand if you're able to get up to 12 or higher. 12 or higher. Okay. Now on my screen, this hand is showing as Joan Evans. I think 2 hands raised, Joan and who's the other hand?
Yeah, 3 hands up.
Okay, I see Donna, Nicole, and Joan, correct?
Nicole, Joanne, and Donna, yes.
Yes, okay. So anybody got 20?
I was cut off. I only got to 12. Troy, I got cut out.
Oh, you got cut? Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I
I'm
got
glad
12.
I'm glad you got back in. All right, great. That was
Nicole
great.
got 14.
I'm sorry?
Nicole said she went to 14.
Oh, great. So Nicole won overall. Good job.
Yeah.
All right. So what you just experienced is the power of how knowing the pattern allows us to know what you expect and get a better result, right? And the same holds true for people in our lives. When we become aware of the pattern of how they communicate, we not only know what kind of communication to expect from them, we also know how to best prepare for, interact with, and respond to them in order to have a successful connection. Now, in 1928, Dr. William Marston identified this DISC theory, which was published in his book, Emotions of Normal People. And his DISC theory identified that each of us is a combination of 4 primary styles that comprise DISC, D-I-S-C. And you look on the screen, you can see what each of the letters stands for. So the D stands for dominance, the I for influence, the S for steadiness, and the C for compliance, all right? So this means that we can connect our personality style in varying degrees in these 4 areas, However, this framework of DISC is not meant to label you or place you in a box and close the lid, all right? Far from that, because each of us is actually a distinct combination of all 4 of the DISC styles: dominant, influencing, steady, and compliant. However, we each have a natural set of 2, 1, or 3 styles that dominate us. All right, remember at the beginning I showed you I have 2 styles that dominate me, the D and the I. So today we'll help you recognize the patterns that illustrate a person's behavioral preferences and how when we learn or when we lean into our own natural areas of strength, we can bring our best into our work and our relationships. Now, I would ask you to do me a favor. If you're not speaking, just mute yourselves so we don't hear any background noises. Thank you so much. So being able to recognize the patterns help us communicate, helps us to connect, and helps us to collaborate in significant ways. So today we're trying to learn about the Maxwell DISC method of personality indicators. Now here is a test scenario, okay? So you're sitting in church and you look around and you see a visitor or someone you do not recognize. What would you do? Are you most likely to just sit there and do nothing? Raise your hand if that's you. That's like you. Be honest. There's no condemnation. So everybody who is on here, okay, thank you. Okay. See, 2 hands raised, thank you. Well, I'm not sure, the same 3 hands that were there before, so I'm not sure if these are new hands or not. All right. Now that would indicate, if you raise your hands, that you have a more reserved nature, all right? Now, if you look on the screen, the C's and the S's are more reserved. Can you see that? At the bottom of the diagram there, you see the S for compliant, S for study, and they are more reserved. They are hoping that if they look around, they won't see a visitor or someone they don't recognize. But in the event that they do, the S's are also thinking they should at least be nice. Okay, so the same church setting, okay? You look around and you see a visitor or someone you don't recognize. What would you do? Do you go over and welcome them to the service? Maybe even make a joke about the weather? If that's you, raise your hand.
I would. I don't know how to raise my hand on this thing today. Oh, there we go. I see.
All right. Okay, so then you can just unmute and say,
I see.
yeah, you can just unmute and say, I would. All right, wonderful.
I'm sure, but both of
Don't
them.
joke though. I would just, I wouldn't joke. I just go and introduce myself.
Yeah,
Okay. All
I
right.
do.
I'm sorry?
I
I would just-
usually do that and invite them home for lunch if possible.
Okay, I'll make sure I come to the Bahamas, come to your church. Okay, praise God.
That's not, she's in, where you at, Joe?
I'm in Jamaica right now.
That's fine. I'll come there too.
Okay,
I will hunt you down wherever you are.
that's fine.
All right. So if this is you, that means that you are more outgoing. You're more outgoing than reserved. Okay, you're more outgoing. All right. So when we look at it from a disc perspective, D's and I's at the top of the diagram are more outgoing. They don't mind seeing a visitor or someone that they don't recognize. All right. So here's another quick question for you. Okay. You are planning a vacation. Are you focused on what needs to get done in order to go? Probably mow the lawn, take the dog to the kennel, take your car for service. Maybe you're linking up or lining up the work that has to be done while you're out, or you look to see if the hotel has Wi-Fi so you can answer emails. If that sounds like you, raise your hands or say, that's me, that's me.
The first one is me.
Okay. Who's me? Who's me? Tell me who me is.
Troy.
Okay, okay. Anybody else? Okay. So the D's and the C's focus first on getting things done. Then they think about the people. In other words, the D's and the C's, you look on the left side, the left top quadrant and the left bottom quadrant, the D's and the C's, they are task-oriented, right? So you might know some people, probably your boss, your spouse, the pastor in the church, the elder, they are more focused on getting the job done. And you come second place, right? They're task-oriented. Doesn't make them bad or good, they're just task-oriented. And they're making the list in this scenario, these D's and C's, they're making the list for vacations, or they're checking to see if the hotel has Wi-Fi. All right. Okay. So we're still in vacation mode, and you are focused on who else is going with you. If you're in that mode, you are caught up in thinking about who you will see when you get there and all the fun experiences you'll enjoy together. If that is you, raise your hand and say, that's me, that's me. Okay, Joan, okay. I think Marlene is that girl in the front with her hands up in the air. I think that's Sister Marlene right there. I could be wrong.
Really?
Sorry?
And you put up two hands.
Yeah. All right. So now you can put your hands down. Thank you so much. So thank the people who just raised their hands. They're the ones who are looking at your greatest source of help, so you can go on vacation in the first place, right? Okay, The I's and the S's, again, on the right quadrants, the top right, the bottom right, the I's and S's are focused on people. They are people-oriented. They put people first, right? Then on getting things done, if there is time. Their vacation planning consists of a list of names or experiences they want to have while they're there. And based on the answers to the church and vacation questions, you'll begin to see where you are on the Maxwell disc matrix. Now, let me give you a glimpse into each of the 4 disc styles, all right? So we're starting with the D, right? Those with significant characteristics of a D-wired style make up to 3% of the population. They thrive on control. They make quick decisions. They are direct and they focus on results. Remember, I'm a D, right? That's part of my assessment. I'm a D and I'm an I, right? So raise your hands.
Impulsive.
I'm sorry?
That person's a kind of impulsive, you said?
Correct, right? They thrive on control. They make quick decisions. They're direct. They focus on results and tend to be impulsive. So raise your hand if there's sounds like you. So my hand is up. I'm a D. Anybody else?
I have a question.
No. My question is there first.
Sorry.
Does this sound like you? Direct. You see how I was just direct with you? I'm a D.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm a D. So I'm asking right now, are there any more Ds? You think you might be a D like me? You thrive on control, you make quick decisions, you are direct, and you focus on results.
Me, that's me, Verona.
No, I don't want to be in control. No.
Okay, all right, wonderful. Okay, could you hold your question to the end? Yeah,
Okay.
Can you hold a question to the end? I'm not sure who that was. Can you write it down? Hold it to the end, please.
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. I like you already. All right. So from a biblical perspective, if you look carefully in the Bible, just at 2 people. Paul was a D. He was a person that couldn't be stopped. He was direct. He made quick decisions, and he focused on results. From a female perspective, the woman at the well, right? She was direct, made a quick decision. All right. So the D's, they focus on results, as we said, so much so that they are always working towards something, and they're proficient at multitasking. So the reason why I showed you the slide with my accomplishments wasn't to impress you, but to show you that I'm a true D, right? So God gave me a PhD, that wasn't enough. He gave me an ND, that wasn't enough. I have about 6 certifications. I'm writing books. I'm finishing another book right now on couples called CARS. It's an acronym, Couples and Relationships. These are like that. They're always multitasking, doing something, achieving. They're high achievers, right? So the D's are driven by authority, and they will very easily try and take control. They embrace any change that would help them get results. They're very comfortable responding to direct confrontation. D's look to work with people who are loyal, and their greatest fear of the D is being taken advantage of, right? That's the fear of the D. I's. The I's persuade others by speaking, right? And I'm sure you could identify somebody on this ministry who use their words to lead. I's persuade others by speaking. They are spontaneous, they are friendly, and they are often in the spotlight, right? You see the guy wearing a yellow shirt, they like bright colors. They're in the spotlight. It is estimated that it takes up to 11% of the population to make up the I's, 11%. So the D's make up 3% of the population. So they're not much D's. The I's make up 11% of the population, right? So if you see some characteristics that seem true for you, would you raise your hand or say that's me? For the I's. Persuasive, spontaneous, friendly, like the spotlight. Okay, so I saw one.
Friendly, but that's
Some of-
about it.
I have some of them. I'm not necessarily the person that won the spotlight. I know I'm spontaneous. I know I am persuasive. I'm friendly. I don't care necessarily to be on the spotlight.
Okay, all
It
right.
makes a person in the spotlight because they wear bright colors.
Hey, this is not my assessment, okay? It's Dr.
I just
Morris.
asking.
So
I
don't
wear
shoot them.
bright colors because it goes with my skin tone.
Oh boy. Now you
I
can
don't wear bright. I usually wear the dark.
you can make all the excuses you want. At the end of this, you will say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm seeing more of this in me. Because at first, no, none of these styles are bad. None of them. They're all leadership styles.
Yeah.
So even if you see only 3 of the 4 things in there, most likely that's part of your personality, right? Whether they want to believe it or not, most likely, right? And to find out for sure, now this is just a presentation, it's general, but if you really want to know which style you are, you can contact me later on, and I'll give you information to do a full assessment. It takes about 15 minutes to do it, just answer honest questions, and it gives you a 30-page report of who you are, why you behave the way you do, right? So most of us don't know ourselves. That's why this is important. And because we don't know ourselves, we don't know our spouses, we don't know our children, we don't know our bosses or our colleagues, because we don't know ourselves. We think we do. So whether you're 65 or 45 and you've lived with yourself all these years, unless you have been intentional to investigate who you are, what's your personality style, you're going to keep running and butting heads with people, right? That's guaranteed. There is no argument or discussion, right? So this is up to you to go further with this. All right. So when we look at the biblical disc charismatic person, we think of Peter, right? He was definitely a magnet. He was persuasive. He was spontaneous. He was friendly, and he loved the spotlight, right? From a female perspective, we look at Mary Magdalene, right? She was the same. All right. So the eyes seek a fun, friendly environment, and they are always active. They are relationship-oriented. They are emotional. They are expressive, and they're animated. Think of anybody yet? All right. They are great storytellers and encouragers, and they treasure great experiences with others. Their greatest fear, right? So do you remember the greatest fear of the D? Anybody remembers? Anybody taking?
Advantages.
Very good, very good. You go to the head of the class.
Take them for granted.
Yeah, well, you know, because you live with a D, right? Dr. Raybourne. All right. So for the eye, their greatest fear is being rejected and lack of approval, right? The eye wants to be liked. They want to be appreciated. They want to have approval. Now, remember, I'm a D and I'm an I, all right? So my greatest fear is fear of rejection, loss of approval, right? But you would notice that while the D is task-oriented, the I is people-oriented. So I kind of strike a good balance. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right, it makes sense to me. Okay, the S's are team-oriented, right? So if you are an employer and you work in HR or you're interviewing people, you want to get some S's on your team. They are loyal, right? They're team-oriented. They are great at follow-through. They are loyal, and they work best in a cohesive atmosphere, right? Or even on a church board, if you're a leader, an elder, whatever, you need to know these things. It is estimated that 69% of the population is S-wired. So 3% so far is D-wired, 11% is I-wired, and 69% of the population is S-wired. So that means in your church, on your job, the majority of people working there, they are S-wired. Okay, so if you can relate to these characteristics, you don't have to be all four, at least two or more, raise your hand, raise your hand. Team-oriented, follow through, loyal, acceptance. Okay, I saw Dr. Nadej and that person who loved to jump in the morning. Okay, wonderful. So from a biblical perspective, or biblical disc perspective, we have already learned that John, the beloved disciple, was an S. John models a perfect example of the S type personality with not only his words, but his actions. From a female biblical perspective, Mary, the mother of Jesus, would have been an S. Excuse me. Our S-wide friends seek a team environment and they're loyal. They're easygoing and agreeable, they're evenly paced, they are good listeners. So a lot of counselors are S-wired. They're compassionate and they treasure peaceful relationships. The greatest fear of the S is loss of security or confrontation, right? So you heard Dr. Raybourne Nadej said that she is an S, right? So what is her greatest fear?
Being taken for granted.
No.
Oh, sorry.
The S. It's on the screen. It's on the screen.
Loss of security.
Loss of security, confrontation, right?
Confrontation.
And I'm a D, right? I love confrontation, right?
Oh, yes, I see it. All right.
You understand now?
Wow.
So I begin to see, once you understand who you are and who your spouse is or the person you're communicating with in a relationship, even though you might be this way, now you can think, hey, you know what? Let me back off a bit, because I am naturally confrontational. She doesn't like confrontation. She'll go in a shell like a turtle. Let me back off. Is it making sense a little bit now?
But then she can be taken advantage of because she goes into that shell.
Right. You understand? So being aware helps you to be aware. Okay. All right. So when an S strength out of balance, they create an obstacle. They may appear to be too laid back, sarcastic, resistant to change, slow-paced, or slow to start. They may have difficulty saying no, and they often need reassurance, right? And I was telling you about my wife on Sunday morning. I had to reassure her a little firmly Saturday night to do her presentation, which she did wonderfully, all right? They will not always be direct, and often they will shut down in confrontation. S's may appear to be possessive, skeptical, indecisive, and may not speak up even when they should. Now, how could that be a bad thing? If a woman who's being abused by a husband physically or psychologically, most times they would not speak up. They were victims. Is it making sense? Is it making sense?
Yes, it's making sense.
All right, wonderful. All right. So let's go to the C's. The C's are compliant. So in other words, a C personality, if they're going to cut the grass, like at our church, one of the elders cuts the grass, and he's a C. He's a C. He cuts the grass when it's not rainy season every day. And when you go to church, the shrubbery are in perfect order. Every blade of grass is on the same level. So a C is somebody like an accountant. I mean, they cross their T's, dot their I's. That's a C, right? In fact, the C's are planners and they take pride in their accuracy. The C's make up 17% of the population. 17% of the population, right? Raise your hand. Oh, Sister White didn't wait for me. Ooh, yes, you're a C, Sister White. Praise God. Raise your hand if you see your giftedness showing up on this page. So we have Sister White so far. Anybody else? You see your giftedness? You're compliant, analytical, you're a planner, you love accuracy. Marilyn, okay. And who else? There's somebody else besides Marilyn.
There's two persons here, hold on.
I thought I saw, it was just
That's-
White, there was Marilyn.
That's both Marylands.
Oh, the two Marilyn, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, thank you, Marilyn.
Maryland from Maryland and Maryland from Nassau.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. So from a biblical perspective, we believe that doubting Thomas was a C-style personality.
Who? You said Thomas?
Yes, doubting Thomas. Well, remember when he told Christ, he told the disciples, I have to see for myself. You remember that? When Christ came to the disciples after he resurrected and he was not there? Yeah. All right. So our C-wired friends seek an environment that honors logic and facts. Some of their strengths, they're compliant, we said, conscientious, accurate, detail-oriented, and they treasure perfection. Their greatest fear is what? What's the greatest fear of the C personality?
Criticism.
Oh,
Why
wow,
is
that
that?
is so true to me. Oh, my goodness.
Why is that? Why is that, you think? I told you before. And it's
Because my love language is words of affirmation. Oh, my God.
yeah, it's affirmation, but also C's are perfectionists. Now, how could that be a problem for a C, right? And I'm not coming down on the C. I'm just asking a question scenario, right? C's are perfectionists. So
Because it's an unattainable goal because only Christ is perfect.
yeah, but don't tell it to a C, right? Don't tell it to a C. So see yourself going to probably a gun range to learn to shoot, and the C is standing with the gun aiming at the target, but the C will not fire for an hour. You know why? You know why?
Because they're waiting for the perfect shot.
There we go. Right? So here's the question. If you are waiting for the perfect shot and you never fire, will you ever get the perfect shot?
No.
Right. So a lot of us have that quality of seeing us. A lot of people have that quality where they're not high achievers. They achieve some things. They take long to make a decision. If they're on a church board and the pastor is a D, and the pastor doesn't know that he's a D, doesn't know how C's operate, because C's ask a lot of questions. Before they make a decision, they will ask you a ton of questions. And if you're a leader and you have a C as an employee or C in the church board or a senior group, before you get a vote, they will ask you a ton of questions. And if you don't understand why they're asking these questions, you would think that they're trying to question you and show you up instead of asking questions, because they have to get everything together before they could make a decision. That's just who C's are. And their greatest fear is being criticized because they're detail-oriented. They took their time to make this cake that they brought you. They took their time to make this dish that they brought to the church for potluck, and somebody found fault with it. There goes the Sabbath for the C. When a C's strength is out of balance, they create an obstacle. They may appear to be moody, critical, unsociable, rigid, legalistic, over-analyzing, socially insecure, or cold and distinct. All right, I wouldn't spend much time with this. This is called the Johari window. You may have heard of it. The Johari window, it's a trust model. And what this does is to show you your blind side. All of us have a blind side of knowing who we are, why we are who we are, how we operate, right? And if you look on the left side, it says known to others, right? On top, it's, known to self, and to the top, known to others, right? So what you know about yourself is that you might think that you a person that people can't see your mask. We all wear masks. And even when you do the assessment, you will understand exactly your 3 masks that you wear. The mask you wear at home, the mask you wear outside, and the mask of who you really are. All right. So this is just a look into yourself, right? So on the top left, where we all live in the arena where we all live and we communicate with other people, right? You see the mask, as I said, at the bottom left, where things we alone know about ourselves that we hide from others, right? We know it's there, but we hide it from other people because we don't want them to know about it or see or realize this about us. On the top, where it says known to others, right? On this part, others are going to see everything in which includes your arena and your blind spots. The blind spot basically is a place of self-discovery. Your friends and loved ones can help you here as well, right? And even your not so close friends. It's best if it's somebody who knows you and who you trust, right? To help you with the blind spot. So this is why, it's said that your spouse is the mirror of you. Your spouse is supposed to, will reflect your blind spots. Most of the things we get mad for from our spouses or children is a reflection of who we are. Things that we don't like, right? What we see in others. All right, so John Maxwell says, connecting increases your influence in every situation, right? Why? So this is why it's important to know somebody's disc style. Now, I've heard it said that in order to succeed in life, we need to listen or learn to work with others. And no matter how smart, caring, and charismatic or demanding we are, we won't advance very far without the ability to communicate and to connect effectively with others. Now, every one of us communicate. That's a given fact. Whether you yell at somebody, whether you speak kindly, we communicate. But you want to communicate, or we want to communicate effectively. And to effectively communicate with somebody, you have to connect. So for example, if I am speaking in Africa or in America, doing a conference on Zoom, whatever it is, right? Well, mostly live. If I go to a place to preach, I will try to get there early and try to walk around outside, try to meet a young person or probably the person who is the greeter, ask them their name, make a joke with them. I'm trying to find somebody to connect with. When I go on the stage, after I'm introduced, before I say anything, I am looking in the audience for that person. I've written down their name. I say, hey, this morning I came, I met Marlene, and I met Mrs. White outside. Wow, they're really good at what they do. Right, church? And hopefully the church loves them, right? And they say, amen. Right away, I have taken some of the influence that Marlene and Mrs. White may have in the church, in the group, to myself. And those who love Marlene and Mrs. White now begin to love me because I have associated myself with them. Is that making sense? Okay, I guess not. All right. Okay, are you still able to hear me clearly?
Yes, it makes sense.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for the one answer. Appreciate it. All right. So how do we communicate with a D? How do you communicate with me? All right. So there are specific strategies for communicating with someone who is D-wired, and you want to understand this. You want to be brief, direct, and to the point, and then leave. D's don't like long conversation about something. Give them the whole picture. Be direct, be brief, to the point, then leave. Also, if you're going to ask a question to a D, ask what questions, not how questions. So you're going to ask a D, what needs to be done? Don't ask a D, how are we going to do this? The D will feel that they're being questioned. Focus on results. Don't ramble. And when you have to discuss a problem, talk about its effects on outcomes. Why? Because a D is task-oriented. When you're communicating with somebody who is mostly I-wired, don't ignore their ideas. Hear them, acknowledge them, and if you don't think their idea will work, recognize their efforts and encourage them to keep looking for solutions and get back to you. Then, yes, you listen again. With I-wired team members, allow time for socializing, both in work and after a meeting with them, right? And follow up with the details in writing. 4 short 10-minute discussions are better than one 40-minute discussion with an I. With the S-wired people in your life, smile. Even if you're not feeling friendly, look friendly, right? Now, seriously, create a friendly tone for the discussion with an S person. Don't be overly aggressive. Be sure to show interest in them as a person. Minimize the potential for confrontation. If you're working on a project together, give definition to the goal and each person's role. With those who are C-wired, remember that they need the details. Make sure you offer up facts and that the facts are validated. With C's, you want to be precise in your explanation and be very specific. Be patient with the C's, answer all their questions, and follow up to provide them with the additional data they request. Now, when somebody with a strong C wiring asks many questions, we said before, it can sometimes feel like they are questioning us. However, keep in mind they ask questions to gather details so they can make the right decision. They can make the right buy-in or take the right action. Now, sometimes people will ask, what style is best? What's your answer? Which style do you think is best of the 4?
There is no best style. Everybody's unique.
They're all best in their own right. I don't think there's one isn't better than the other.
All right, so that last person there is a C, but you're correct, right? So the answer, of course, is yours. Your style is the best, right? You are gifted with strengths that, when used, contribute to the work and the lives around you. Your style is best, and that makes everyone better, right? And then when we take the time to communicate and connect with others through their style instead of ours, and form a biblical perspective, try to be like Jesus, we build the bridge and become, as Apostle Paul stated, right? So the disease to please, if someone's approval matters more to me than God's, then that person has become an idol in my life. All right, so today we talked about how to recognize the pattern of the people around us by seeing how they may be wired in their disc style, right? Now, if you look at the personality of Jesus, he was the most intriguing and aspiring, amazing behavior profile ever investigated. He was a D when he needed to be a D, an I when he needed to be an I, an S or C when he needed to be an S or a C. In theory, the most effective people are those who know themselves as well as the demands of each specific situation and take on a particular style of behavior to meet the needs of their environment. And although this is suggested as ideal, no one is able to do it on a consistent basis, all right? All right, so once we know how someone else is wired, we can build even deeper relationships and connections. As we close, identify one thing that really sticks in your mind from all we have shared today, one thing, all right? What is the one thing you have learned or will do differently as a result of what we have covered today? All right, so take a few answers.
I'm going to be looking at my family, styles, church members, and everyone else, and then also reach out to you so that I can know myself, so I can be better for others.
Okay, all right. So then, yeah, so like I said, Sister White, if you want to really know yourself, then you need to do the assessment. So contact me. I'll let you know how we can make it happen. All right, next person.
I am going to be more friendly to our visitors that come to church instead of just looking and smiling up at them. I'll go over and say, hello, how are you doing? You know, instead of just sitting there.
All right, thank you so much. Anybody else?
I'm going to work on not being easily offendable
Okay,
as a C, because criticism is difficult. So I want to be not so easily offended.
amen, amen. Thanks for sharing. Anybody else? All right. We're kind of shy this morning. Okay, all right. All right, so we are each a distinct combination of the 4 types, as I said before. If you'd like to learn the degree to which you are a D, an I, an S, or a C, our Maxwell DISC Personality Indicator Report will provide you, as I said before, with 30 pages all about you. You will discover your DISC profile, your communication style, and the environment where you can